what is starting to open up as you're hearing? Because I want you to start thinking. So you've learned that you're a manifestor, projector, or generator. It's kind of the foundation, the first layer of you. But then you're learning the centers. But then when you're learning the centers, you realize, oh, I don't have just a projector in me. I have a little bit of a generator or a manifestor or reflector, and that kind of shifts. You're starting to see yourself bigger, but this is just, again, just 2 layers, because the manifestor or projector is like thick layer of a cake. And then the centers is like a cream in between. Today we're going to learn lines. This is another thick layer of the cake. And then in a week, we're going to start learning the gates. And this is, again, the topping and the cherry. And so what's starting to open up? Are you starting to get yourself better by just knowing those 2 layers? Or your partners or your children? What's starting to open up? Please share and let me start recording.
I would love to start. And the last ones, when you did the Ajna and the crown, my design is I have those 2 and then the root and the spleen. And the more I learned, I really started to giggle a little bit. I'm like, I feel like I'm basically an animal that thinks.
Oh, so lovely.
Fine with, yeah, I and like I've shared with you in the past, like my mind is very, it's a loud, those are louder centers, and they're both lit up.
Yeah.
And the spleen, like you said, is the quietest one, and it's once and done.
Yeah.
So yeah, just being aware that like quieting this and not using this is going to take a lot of actual effort to quiet, listen, slow down.
Yes.
Appreciate that. And the affirmation of being like, I always want to be a goer, but I'm a projector, and I really do get burned out really easy.
Yeah. But again, knowing your lines, you will get even more today, understanding yourself, because it's a 3rd layer. But now, because you have a spleen center, I would rather you to rely on the spleen center. And please know, on the high vibration, the spleen center is there to help others to heal through body. People who are born with spleen center, yours is the spleen center, is authority. These are yogis, tantra yogis, nidra yogis, and through yoga they quiet their mind because they're concentrating on asanas, and their body then becomes the access to use the ajna center, right, or the crown center, to experience the 3rd eye and kundalini. Because if you use the ajna center and the crown center correctly as a projector, you are basically the light that is shining to others. You're enlightened and you enlighten others. So don't think that, okay, spleen center, I'm animal. Yes, this is on the low vibration and typically the case, but on the higher vibration, you are the healer, because you're so in tune with the energies of others. As your vibration rises, you're like, this person right now experiencing shame, guilt, fear, and you see how to navigate them and help them. Help them through Reiki, help them through natural medicine, helping them through just naturally talking to them. You have this ability. Very intuitive people, okay? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Who else? Who wants to share what's opening up? And by the way, did you have a chance to listen to all the centers? Because I know it's been a lot. Were you able to hear it all? Emma? Ayana?
Sorry. I'm still setting up my area, but I'll share it. I didn't listen to I didn't have a chance to listen to the Ajna Center, but I did listen to the other ones. I guess what's coming up for me is kind of being comfortable with where I'm at. I like to, I kind of want to like speed up the process. Like, why am I not here yet? Like, why haven't I, reached this point yet, or something like that. But just trying to be okay with where I am, as well as I still kind of like haven't had a set time for meditation. I think it's just with like Ramadan going on, I have a lot of other things I'm doing, usually like in the evenings and different stuff outside of work and everything.
Yeah.
So once it's over, I'll be able to kind of make a better, what is it called? Like make a better
Routine.
I would like to do it on a consistent time period.
Yeah, routine.
So,
Creating a routine.
Yeah, routine. There we go.
Fantastic.
Other than that, yes, it's been really good.
Oh, ladies, welcome to today's course, because today you will learn that at certain age, your development will hit a rock bottom, or you're going to start experiencing enlightenment. So, Ayana, this is perfect where you're questioning right now, but we are where we're supposed to be, and today it's going to come together even more. So thank you for sharing. You did not hear then not just Ajna Center, but also Crown Center. In the last recording, I went over two, and on Monday, you're going to get the last center, which is the root center, root chakra. Gabriela or Emma, what do you want to share? What's starting to open up? What are you learning so far by just knowing the two layers?
Sure. I didn't get a chance to listen to the Ajna and Crown Center,
Got it.
but I get to listen to the rest.
Okay.
And it looks like for me that I have the G center up colored in.
Yes.
So those four. And I remember actually my husband did send me a while ago his chart, and I did his a little bit before this program. My husband's also a manifesting generator, and he has like, my husband, I remember his chart was like all colored in. And also like sometimes it's like, I know, like kind of coming to terms, like after hearing some more of the recordings, like, okay, he has definitely a much better intuition or like gut feeling than I do on certain things.
Yes.
And I can even see where I've been swayed, like very easily swayed towards certain things, even though maybe it wasn't the best decision or the most efficient, effective decision.
Yes.
And just kind of coming to terms, like, I think these last, learning a little bit more about myself, but I think I learned a lot more about my husband, even learning all of these other centers.
Yes.
And that, yeah, since he has all of them colored in, that I need to definitely trust his judgment more than mine in certain arenas, that most likely his gut feeling is more on point than mine, especially because I don't have the lower centers filled in. So
yeah. And that's why you attracted each other, because he has color centers and you have more clear centers, and that's how you help one another. But at the same time, just knowing today that you said that you're 4/6, you're going to learn a lot about you and what's really how you're living life and what's going to happen throughout the stages and ages in your life, and it will come all together. Because again, if the manifesting generator lives on the low vibration, they might take you down. Sure. If they're living on a high vibration, absolutely. But again, he's generator, because doesn't matter, manifesting generator or generator, your projector, you are complete each other. So this is an ideal actually marriage, between projectors and generators. So thank you for sharing. But again, it's going to be very interesting, especially for you.
I don't know if there's anything specific, because I've just kind of been taking it all in. But I kind of, to be honest, I sort of, the different categories, it's all kind of resonated in different contexts. But I think the open center is the main one that I resonate with. I'm a manifesting generator under this system. I'm pretty in my body already, but yeah, I was pretty fascinated by the just how accurate it was, because I don't do it so much now, but I used to be really easily influenced. Yeah, it's not that it got me in trouble, but I would often be influenced in ways that didn't really benefit me. But I had no idea that I was like being manipulated.
Yes.
Because open by nature and sort of like trusting by nature. So that was definitely interesting to kind of reflect on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise I kind of I don't have this issue so much anymore. But I used I do have very good what sorry, was it Gabrielle was saying about her husband having a gut feeling. I know this is a projector, it's supposed to be a projector characteristic, but generally I have a really good gut feeling about where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do. And the last man I was with, and also my mother has good points, but she's I know this isn't astrology, but she has the in Vedic astrology, there's like the trifecta of Saturn that people have. She has that. So she's like, I don't want to be rude, like say mean things about her, but she's like she can be really dominating and yeah, she can be kind of abusive the way that she sort of expresses herself. Like when she wants something done, it's like has to be her way. Or like there's no kind of grey area with her. And it's all about her needs. There's often no kind of catering for other people within that. And because I'm her daughter, I've often been pulled into that energy without kind of being like, oh no, that's actually not what I want to do. And over the last 5 years, I noticed instances where I had been pulled into making decisions that I didn't want to do, and they did actually have like quite not like physically harmful, but I could see the sequence of events like wasn't my best interest when I put her first and not me first. So yeah, that's definitely something that I've been reflecting on. As I said, I don't do it now because I don't know how, but the last few years I've kind of managed not kind of hook into her energy. But yeah, they're kind of, I really like that first meditation. I don't like the second, not that I don't like it, but I resonate more with the first meditation.
Then keep listening to the first one. But by the way, you're bringing up a few things. Human design has astrology into it as well, but this is level 2. When we go over all of this, if you can see, I know it's light here.
Extreme.
Yeah, all of this is all of the planets here. And what are you referring to where it has to be only her way, how you're describing your mother, is usually a manifester. She could be even a generator or projector, but if she has emotional center connected to the throat, she has a lot of manifesting traits. And manifesting traits, again, you think about Hitler, you think about Putin, you think about Trump, not that they're bad, but they have this authority. It has to be this way and no other way. And that's how manifestors are. And it's not that it's bad or wrong, it's that they're born to rule.
Yeah.
But everybody around them, of course, struggles because at home, it's very hard to be with a dictator. My mother is manifestor, so I could totally relate. It's like, my way or no way. And so I was growing up always feeling, okay, what is my mother gonna again dictate? And that's why she doesn't have any friends. Who wants to be with a dictator? You know, she's very lonely, she struggles, and 6 months she's pretending to be a flower, but then sooner or later she shows up her personality and she's a great white and people just run away. They're intimidated and scared. But now lately she cannot even hide it, like 2-3 weeks, and then she shows up. Manifestors have a personality for the most part on a low vibration like dictators. But if they rise their vibration, they know how to communicate. They say, right now, I'm up to this, I'm going to the store, or I'm in a bad mood, I need to be alone. They don't know how to have the boundaries, and they need a lot of alone time. And so on the low vibration, they're really dictators. It's tough to be with them. Yeah. But it has a lot of astrology to it, human design. It's just on the second level we go over it, but not on this level. We maybe touch upon a little things, but not a lot. Because this particular meditation is going to start helping you to connect to your body and living in the present moment. For those of you especially who have color center that is ajna, it is easy for you to, again, rely on your head. Even if you don't have Ajna Center, we live in a society where we learn to rely only on our head, but especially for those of you who have Ajna Center. For me, it took a year to learn to meditate with closed eyes. First year, it was just impossible, and I was intuitively doing with open eyes because my head was just in so much gibberish. And now, if I have a lot of intrusive thoughts, first 2-3 minutes, I keep my eyes open. And then after 2-3 minutes, when it comes down, I close my eyes. But there are days when either my husband is stressed or now our son is stressed, then I still have my eyes few minutes open. So just know what it will help you in meditation or prayer or affirmation is to keep your eyes open if the ajna is in a way for you to relax and connect to your soul and meditate and repeating the mantra or just connecting to Creator. Just remember that. All right, ladies, so then let's begin. Get comfortable. Make sure while you're doing the meditation, you don't cross your arms and your legs. And you can either be on a chair, but I would say relax on the chair, kind of lean back, either on the sofa, either on the chair or on a bed, wherever you feel comfortable. Again, make sure you don't cross your arms and your legs. You close your eyes and take a deep breath all the way in. And then slowly exhale, letting go, slowing down. Another deep breath all the way in, expanding your chest and your lungs. Hold it for a few seconds. And then slowly relax, letting go, slowing down, breathing out. Now I would like for you to start paying attention to your body. And in particular, I would like for you to pay attention to your right hand. And use the left hand to pinch or kind of push somewhere your right hand so you can feel the tension and sensation. I would like for you to take your left hand and press somewhere on your right hand and then release. Now I would like for you to do the same thing on your left hand. Use your right hand to push somewhere on your left hand and feel any pressure there so you can fully connect to your left hand and then release. Now I would like for you to do it without touching yourself, and you can feel any warm or cool sensation on your right hand. Maybe tingling in your fingers, maybe on your wrist, maybe it's the rising of the temperature, feeling warmth or feeling cool. Now I would like for you to do the same thing with your left hand. Experience any pressure, any tingling. And now first experience the temperature that is warm. And then start experiencing the coolness in your fingers, your palm, your wrist, and your hand. Now I would like for you to connect to your body and experience any tension, maybe in your chest, maybe in your neck, maybe in your stomach, maybe in your back or your head. And just be with it. If you feel any pressure or any discomfort in any part of your body, put more attention into that particular area. Because where we put our attention, that's where we send love. And where we send love, that particular place feels love and acceptance.
And so keep giving to that particular, maybe organ, maybe muscle, maybe emotion, the feeling of love. Now allow yourself to experience any sounds other than my voice, maybe outside of your room, maybe outside of the window, and don't put any judgment into it. You're just checking whether you can hear everything while you're listening to me. Allow yourself to experience the taste and the smell. Maybe you can smell your room. Maybe you can smell your body. Maybe you can even smell something that was in your kitchen a while ago, but the smell is still in your home. And now you're paying attention. If you can taste just your mouth, your tongue, your teeth. And if you think about lemon, you can almost taste the taste of lemon. That's how powerful you are and your mind. And so we check that your mind is working perfectly. But we now can allow your mind to rest. And we're gonna dive into most important space in your whole body. It's the space of your soul, your heart, where you have the answers to all your questions. And you're diving into the darkness because you're already in the darkness as you're keeping your eyes closed. And you can move your eyes, even while they're closed, to the left. And you can feel the darkness. And if you move them with eyes closed to the right, you can also experience the darkness. And if you move up, you feel the darkness. And if you look down with your eyes closed, you feel the darkness. And most of the people are afraid of this darkness because there's so much peace and tranquility. And that's where your soul lives. And that's where everyone's soul lives. And that's how we're all interconnected in this dark space of this inner peace, inner love, inner deep acceptance, and deep connection, not just with our soul, but also Creator Himself. And that's why we need the meditation to connect to the essence of our being and Creator, who gave us this body in this particular life, maybe for 70 or 90 years. And this body is helping us to feel, to think, to function. But this body also has the function of connecting us to our soul and Creator Himself. And it feels so wonderful not leaving the house to connect to Creator Himself. It feels so wonderful. And just be in that space right now. With your soul, with your body, and Creator Himself. This is how being in the present feels like. There's no thoughts, no worries. Just being in the present moment. Feeling yourself, feeling your body, and connecting deep to your soul. Connecting to Creator, who is always there, always guiding you, always protecting you, always loving you. No matter how far you can go from your home. You might be in a cave in Tibet. You could be in a temple in India. You could be on the bottom of the ocean. You might be on the peak of the mountain Everest. And you might think that you are alone there. But you are always with Him. And it feels so wonderful to know that He's always there. And this darkness doesn't feel anymore like a space of loneliness or emptiness, because in this darkness it's a vibration of love, acceptance, harmony. It's like a dark blanket that is holding you and hugging you. And it feels wonderful. The time disappears in this darkness. And sometimes it feels so blissful that you can feel you can stay there eternity. Now you can stay there a little bit more. And we're gonna start shifting to an open field. I would like for you to imagine that you're a little seed that got planted in the ground. And it is autumn. Leaves are falling. The trees have red, yellow colored leaves, and they're falling to the ground. But you got planted in the ground that is still warm from the summer. And days passes, and you start to sense your body that it gets to feel like it's getting swollen. And this little seed is starting to grow larger and larger. And the moisture and nutrients from the earth nourishing you, providing you these essential elements to break free from your seedling surface. And you're extending your root deeper, feeling the comfort of the soil. Yet you realize a desire to break free and reach towards the sun. But you're still waiting. You're waiting weeks and months because it's still cold. and you're waiting more, the winter passes. And slowly your body starts to transform. And your little leaves, like arms, stretching out to break through the tough ground that held you all this time. Spring beckons you to grow and expand. As your fragile leaves emerge, you breathe in the fresh, warm air of the spring. And your roots continue to reach down to the cool, refreshing ground below. You revel in the warmth of the sun and the refreshing breeze, much like your roots below. Your body grows stronger each day, expanding and flourishing. Even while you sleep under the moonlight, you continue to grow inch by inch. And after 3 weeks, you become an unrecognizable, delicate flower swaying in the wind, attracting the butterflies and bees seeking shelter and nourishment. And you feel the wonder of being needed and loved by the warmth of the earth beneath you and the sun above you and the rain that sustains you. And the butterflies and bees visit you, showering you with the gentle affection and kisses. Embrace your beauty, the love you give, and the warmth and love you receive in return. Life itself protects you, loves you, and cherishes you simply for just being you. You don't need to do anything extraordinary. Your essence is enough. Feel your body, the body of a flower, where you can now start transforming and feeling yourself that you're no longer a flower, but the tree itself, maybe an oak tree, maybe an apple tree, maybe a Christmas tree. The choice is yours. And you can experience your strong trunk, the branches, the leaves on you. Yes, those beautiful green leaves that gives shadow to animals and people that walk under you. And you're noticing the insects that are crawling on you, the spiders that are making web on you, and the butterflies and the bees that are landing on you during the spring and summer. And it feels so wonderful to experience yourself as this mighty tree that is very wise, that's been around for not centuries, but millions of years. And then you can transform, and you can now experience yourself in an open field. In your body, walking in an open field, maybe barefooted, touching a beautiful fresh grass and experiencing, as you're walking, all your authority centers, maybe the G center that it's meant for you to give love to all humanity, maybe the emotional center that is there for you to connect to people's emotions. Maybe your throat center that is there to communicate and share your knowledge and wisdom to others. Maybe it's your sacral center that is hugging people with the energy of love. Maybe it's a spleen center that is very intuitive and connects on a very deep emotional and intuitive level to others. And maybe you can disconnect, even if you have the Ajna center, because you're starting to learn to connect and trust your body. And that feels wonderful, to experience the journey where you're learning to trust no one but yourself, Creator, and your body. And that feels wonderful. A few more minutes, and you can start slowly shifting back to here and now, and at the same time acknowledging yourself, Creator, the tree that you saw, the flower that you've seen and experienced yourself as, and the dark space, the space of Creator Himself. And whenever you're ready, on your own time, you can open your eyes and feel present, clear, and good. So how did the meditation go for you? Were you able to relax and be in the darkness and be okay in this darkness? And were you able to feel and see yourself as a flower and then as a tree, and also connecting to your centers? Were you able to do that? Who wants to share?
I definitely, I didn't have much of a struggle at all with any of those phases, but I will admit, doing the meditations you've sent us daily, I really have had a struggle doing it daily, and I am so grateful because it's so much quicker for me to just slip into it.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for acknowledging, Samantha. But again, it's going to get easier and easier, because the first specific meditation that I send you, it's all for you to learn to love yourself. And people usually resist that the most. And if you're connecting to that, it's a beautiful shift that you are ready to embrace yourself, give yourself that 20 minutes and hold yourself and love yourself. So even if it's hard, if you can continue doing it, that will be great. And today I will be sending you this meditation, so you can choose that one as well, because this meditation today was also about self-love, embracing yourself, but doing it even more through Creator. Because the darkness, we're in a space of Creator. Yeah. Anybody else who wants to share?
I am definitely still in my head. I didn't really see myself as the flower per se. I just envisioned a flower.
It's okay. It's okay, because Ajna Center gonna do it like that, and it's okay. Even if you're imagining, it's still working. Beautiful.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did have that, so.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm just tired.
Tired because it's so early.
It's so early, so yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to lie down.
I get it.
But the tree was interesting.
Yeah. What tree did you see?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Being the tree was interesting.
But which tree did you see? Oak tree, Christmas tree? Because each tree has a different meaning.
I don't know what it was. It was just a tree that had it was probably more like an oak. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the tree of wisdom. Powerful. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. beautiful. All right, ladies, then we're gonna begin to talk about the exercise that we're about to break in. And the system, by the way, I have no idea how to break you, so my husband gonna help me with that. I'm really bad with technology. That's why I'm glad he's staying home, even though they plan to go to the park, but he's gonna help me in a moment. And so I don't know how the system gonna break you, but you will be with another person. And how you do it. For example, Samantha, I'm gonna demonstrate it like doing it with you. For example, I will tell you, I have, let's say, hypothetically, something that I'm scared to share with my husband. Actually, I'm gonna do it in real life, how I experienced it last year. So you're gonna be my husband, and I'm gonna talk to you. So I'm telling you, Samantha, you're my husband. His name is Vladimir. And so, as I'm telling you, Vladimir, you are taking on for that 15 minutes that you are my husband. So you're closing your eyes and allowing yourself to feel that you are 43-year-old Russian man who is married to me, who is a provider, protector, and here's his wife is sharing her struggle, okay? And so I'm talking to you, and this is what I had to deal with last year. Honey, this is something that, and you're looking at me. We're doing eyes to eyes. You're looking at me. Honey, this is something that is very frightening for me to share this right now, but I must, because my soul feels like there's a need for me to start leaving the comfort zone of just being a mom and a wife. I feel a strong calling that I want to be in Turkey, and I want to do retreats for men and women, but start in particular for women, and help them to connect to their feminine side, to connect them with their spirituality. I feel like I am the channel, and I know that it's going to be so tough for you while I'll be there for 2, maybe 3 weeks, maybe a week, and Alec is in school, and you have to call my mom and your mom to help you out. But I will be so grateful if you will let me be the person that I feel like has the strong urge to do it. And I'm scared to tell you this because I'm afraid that you will tell me, are you crazy? You're a mom and a wife. Why are you gonna go to Turkey alone and help strangers? I need you. But I cannot hold it inside because I have the strong urge to do it. This is my self-expression, and as I see that Alec is growing, he's less relying on us because he's connecting to friends. I feel like it's my time to give something more. Will you be okay with it? I am not hearing from you, Samantha, to say okay. I'm just sharing my fear, what is holding me. And so each one of you have something that you are scared to say to your ex-husband, to your maybe manifestor mother, to maybe ex-abusive boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or ex-husband, to maybe your parent. And you know that if you'll tell them, it's gonna go south because something holds you. And this is your opportunity to just be authentic and share. By the way, of course, my husband said, of course, how can I help you? But I was so scared to go to him and tell him that. But the point of this exercise is to set yourself free. Because when we have this fear, it's usually eats us alive. It could be in our heart, it could be in our back, it could be in our belly, and then we're drinking this fear or shame or guilt, or we are eating it with sweets, and somehow we are deteriorating if we're not expressing this fear. And so this is your opportunity to share the biggest one that you don't want to do. That's the one I want you to go after. And you as a listener, you're not saying anything back. Like, yes, sure, or blah, blah, blah. No, you are just listening. And you're looking at this person, their eyes. You are just like this cup that is empty. And the person is giving you their fear. But you're taking what they feel. But it's actually a cup. and you put it on the side. They're free. And then you do the same thing. You share with the partner your fear. And so 15 minutes for one person and 15 minutes for another person. And maybe you can set up the timer so it will help you. And if you finish earlier, the other person can start first. And then you can maybe even do the second person if you can think of someone else. Or you can just share. Okay? But it has to be authentic. You can even say, for example, to your manifesting mother, Mom, and Samantha, let's say, or Ayana, you're the mom. Mom, I'm angry at you because all my life it was all about you, your needs, your feelings. And I never felt like I was visible. It was never about me. So however you feel, you are expressing it. If you have authority emotional center, you're probably angry with somebody. Share that. You have fear, you share that. That is the access to your freedom. You're talking basically with a stranger. You're not living with Gabriela or Ayana or Emma or Samantha. So allow yourself to be free from that resignation, that bitterness, or that fear, so it doesn't eat you alive. Clear, ladies? Any questions about this exercise? It's one of the most powerful exercises. This is your access to quantum leap. For those of you who didn't make a phone call, when I was in a psychology school in Russia, when we were doing that, I saw people were like popping up. Finally, then they were calling their ex afterwards, or they're calling their parents that they didn't speak to 5 years or 10 years. And they were free. So this is your access. Take someone who you're the most resigned, scared, or angry about. Yeah? Beautiful. And let me call my husband and ask him to help me because I have no idea how to send you to groups. I'm horrible. So Emma, when you were saying how to give you the access to Zoom, I'm like, I know just basics. I'm a people's person, not tech person. Without you. Help, please.
How you doing, y'all?
Hi.
I'm so grateful.
Automatically.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for being patient. Tell me, how did it go?
I don't know if we did it right, but because we kind of ended up in more of a discussion about our feelings around it and kind of what had happened. But yeah, it was nice to share and discuss. Yeah, for sure.
Because the goal here is not to find the solution to the problem, is to release what you are scared about, angry about, resigned about, letting it out. Make sense? Were you able to achieve that?
Well, for me, like, yes and no. I think I'm just more accepting the uncomfortableness that I still have with it. Yeah. No, it's actually I do have a spiritual teacher, Amrita, that I met maybe 14 years ago.
Yeah.
But I had some conflict with him. Yeah, like maybe the last sort of 3 or 4 years. And I did discuss it with him when I last saw him in Europe. And he assured me that like everything was okay and whatnot. And then I kind of discovered that he mightn't have been 100% truthful with me. And so he lives overseas. So I did confront him about it on the phone. And he shared with me that I had upset him and whatnot, and he'd also really upset me. So we did have a discussion around it, but I still feel like he's not kind of completely telling me the truth.
Do you mind sharing then what happened so I can grasp a little bit better if you feel comfortable?
I don't know exactly.
What are you upset with him? What are you really upset? What are you upset with him?
I'm upset because I want to have a good relationship with him and I want to be close with him and I want it to be harmonious, but
What did he do that changed your mind 3 years ago? What particularly happened?
He blocked me when I sent him something that I was asking for help with, but for whatever reason, it really offended him. I wasn't trying to be offensive. I sent him a message that I wanted some help about something, and then he kind of came back to me and said that was inappropriate and that he had a lot on his plate. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm really sorry, but I have a lot on my plate too. Like it's, and I was coming to you for help. But okay, I get it. And then I felt really uncomfortable about the fact I'd upset him because that really bothers me. And so I sort of sent him a text saying, you know, let's just like move forward and whatever. And I thought it was a really nice text and he just blocked me. And so for me to have communication with him, it has to be face to face. I have to fly, you know, like be 24 hours on a flight if he organizes a group thing. And the last time, and I've always been happy to do that, but the last time I did meet was in Portugal with a group there, and I did speak to him about it, and he was like, no, like you're not blocked, and you know everything's fine, it's okay, and he was so super kind about it. And again, like I don't know if it was my open center that he was kind of manipulating. I don't know, but I just, something is not right because we have a group message text thing where he sometimes sends videos or sends things, and the last maybe like 4 or 5 times I can't see any video or any message of his, but I can see everyone in the group's response. And so the first like two times, like, and I have a pretty consistent spiritual practice anyway, and the first sort of 2 times, like I thought, oh, that's a bit weird, but then I was like, oh, maybe it's technical or whatever, like I didn't think anything of it. But then it happened again in December that really upset me, and then it happened again maybe like a month ago, and it totally derailed me, like it really upset me. And so I was like, this isn't good for me, so I think I should just confront him. And I would never like kind of and I had this conversation with him before our thing, and I would never usually sort of like go out of my way to push communication on someone if they don't want to communicate these days. But anyway, I called him from my landline, which is a number that he doesn't have, and I know I took him by surprise. And I was like, hey, like, did you lie to me about the group thing? Because like I'm not receiving your messages. And he got super defensive and was like, how dare you accuse me of lying and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not continuing this conversation until you say sorry for accusing me of lying. And I'm like, yeah, but did you lie? Like, I don't know, because like, I'm really sorry if I upset you to the point that you want to block me. But you told me in Portugal like 3 months ago that I wasn't blocked, and being excluded from the group thing is like really upsetting. Like it's really hurtful. Like, are you supporting my spiritual practices or are you not supporting them? Like, this is really difficult for me. Like, you're supposed to be the teacher. Like, what's going on? And so it was positive in that he did express that I'd upset him, and I did apologize for that. But I also said, well, you know, like, you've really upset me too. So it's not just like about your feelings, it's about mine too. So, you know, like, it is what it is, but like, it's not just all about me and my behavior. Like the way that you are towards me, I think sometimes is really unprofessional. Like, you're quite happy to communicate with a lot of other people because I know that you do, because I'm friends with them. But me, for some reason, like, you have this real problem, and that's okay if you have a problem, but I just don't want to be like deceived or lied to. Like, if you need to block me because I've upset you that much, just say that. Don't say that everything's fine when it's not. Because I feel disrespected by that, because I'm like, how can someone respect you if they kind of lie? But then I don't know if he was lying. I mean, I feel internally that he's not completely telling me the truth because he is upset still. But I've apologized. I've made efforts. So, you know, there's nothing really else that I can do. I don't think. But yeah, but the hurt comes around because I want it to be good, and I've never wanted to upset him. But yeah, it's just not ideal situation right now for me. Anyway.
Emma, do you mind if I'll share what I hear?
Yeah, of course.
Emma, the breakdown here with your guru is you had an expectation of him to help you through your challenge. So you send him the text for the support. And just consider that even a guru, he's a still human being.
Yeah.
And maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I think I just I feel upset because I know for a fact that he supports others like a lot. But I feel like for me, he doesn't want to. And a lot of,
just
and
listen.
I can't force that.
No, just listen. It's just every spiritual guru also feels sometimes the samskara with their students. And maybe he feels that strong samskara with you, and he feels like he's not capable of interaction on helping you to overcome that. It's his trigger point. And
100%. That's what it is,
Yeah, and the more you will try to confront him, the more he will kind of distance himself from you because he's not capable of helping you with the degree that you're coming forcefully or strong with your emotions, and he's like, that's too much for me. And maybe he even blocked you, not consciously, in the moment he did, and now he regrets, or maybe whatever that is in his space, but you're confronting him, tell me the truth, and he's not capable of that. He cannot give you what you want. You want the closure, and you want the connection for him to help you the way he's supporting others, but maybe he's just sending you the action, the messages, right? Verbal and non-verbal, that he is not the person that will help you the way you see that he will help you. You have a certain image, an idea of him talking to you or guiding you and supporting like he does others. But your samskara is just pushing each other, and he sees it and he's like, oh, I'll distance. But you're still going after him. Give me this. I'm attached to this. But he's like, just leave me alone. He even blocked you. Possibly he blocked you, or possibly he's staying away. He's, again, nonverbal language, he shows you that he's not the right person to help you with it. And you're not accepting it, you know. That's all is missing. Accepting that, yes, 14 years you've been with him, and he can help you, he guide you to this level. But the other level that you want for him personally to help you through breakdowns, he can't. And that's why the universe is sending you. Maybe it could be me. Maybe it could be someone else or someone else. But you are attached that it has to be him. There has to be a closure with him. He has to confront and tell you this or that. Let it be. The person is letting you know in his action that he's not the right one.
Yeah. It's just confusing because he still invites me to all the events.
Of course. And that's why we're going to talk about now lines, right? When people also, and by the way, gurus go through their breakdowns as well. And they have their lows. And their lows that, of course, he's like, come to my program. But you're expecting for him not to just lead your program, but to have a personal kind of friendship relationship when you're going through breakdown so that he can assist you. And that he cannot give you. And can you accept and surrender that? That he's not the person that will give you more that he does to everyone else, and that more that you want you can find in other people.
That's
all.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
And it's not like he's
Yeah,
bad.
it makes total sense. It's
Yeah.
just I kind of feel misled because I never set up that expectation to my knowledge. It was a lot of the things that he said and how he was behaving, but
But you are
it is what
comparing.
it-
But you are comparing. He helps others. So you have expectations for him to help you the same way. And he's staying away.
Yeah, but he used to help me like that. But then,
Until you
I don't
shared
know.
that text or something, and then he realized,
Yeah.
no, this is too much for me. I cannot help her. He made that decision. He put the block, and you're just not accepting that block.
Yeah.
That's all. And it's time for you to accept that he's not willing to help you like he used to or how he does to others. Surrender to it and move on. The universe, creator, is sending you all other people to help you with that particular thing that you need. He's not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go to one teacher for human design. I go for spirituality to another teacher. And it's okay.
Yeah. Particular decisions about my personal life, I'm just not going to be paying attention to those. And I'll just see him for his area of expertise within the practices that he gives. I think that's better for me.
Yes, if it feels right, but at the same time, how you are saying that I'm gonna put this on the side, because if you're resigned on certain area, you will still be listening to him from that filter, and that's what this exercise for. Looking at Gabriel and saying, you know what, my guru or teacher, however his name is, I'm resigned about what happened 2-3 years ago. I'm still hurt about this. I'm still angry about this. I'm still sad about it. And I don't even know how to come to your programs feeling this resignation and bitterness that happened 3 years ago. That's what this exercise was for. To release everything you feel, because he is not allowing you to release all of his emotions. He's not capable of being with all of your emotions. And this exercise is exactly for that. Letting it all out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah? And so, if you feel that you haven't done it correctly, maybe with one other person, maybe with Sam, maybe with Ayana or Gabriela again, you can say, can I call you again afterwards or tomorrow or Monday, and I can do it again for 15 minutes and get it complete. Being that committed to yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Make sense? Who do you want to make requests to? Do you want
yeah, it makes sense.
So make a request of all girls and see who will be willing to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Do it right now.
Well, I just need to sit with it for a bit.
Sure. And if you feel right, then you reach out in a group so somebody can complete it with you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Emma. Thank you for being authentic and vulnerable and sharing. Gabriela, how did it go for you?
I will say, I think lately I've just been very distracted with the baby. So even I was able to put him down, but I probably was kind of distracted. He was moving around a bit, getting tired.
Oh, I got it.
So I think what I was at least talking about, even though we didn't directly get into playing the roles necessarily, that, but funny enough, in a similar way, I feel like similar to Emma's situation, just this is happening with a family member.
Yes.
That I have, like when the exercise, actually, so I feel like these things are coming out fresh, but I'm distracted at the same time. So maybe I'm just like slow to coming around to it. But for the exercise, I called a family member, an aunt of mine that we kind of had a falling out a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And we used to have a close relationship. So I called her, first I FaceTimed her because I thought it would be more personal. So I was like, oh, okay. She didn't pick up. And at first I kind of thought the same thing, like, oh, technical issues, like she's busy, it's fine. But then I waited almost a week later and I called her, just a regular phone call, and she still didn't pick up. And then seeing her at a family event recently, because she still comes to family events, like we're still invited to the same things. just saying like, hey, do you have time for like a call next week or something? Like I called you. And she was like, oh, what? Like pretending like it didn't happen. So kind of being like really frustrated, but trying not to embarrass her, I guess, in front of the family at the same time. So just being like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
please, yeah, like we'll make time for a call. So I guess just kind of identifying the frustration, like, okay, I'm reaching out, but like nothing, like they're not calling back, or even, you know, even if it was like a text like, hey, I'm really I even said, oh, it's tax season. My aunt is an accountant, so I was like, oh, she's probably really busy right now. Like I was kind of making those things, but like still feeling bad because she did, like, not even a text back saying like, hey, like I'm just really busy right now, I'll get back to you soon. um, so just that kind of processing that, a little bit of frustration.
But were you able to complete it with Emma, or you did not get into the... No.
I don't think so. I think probably getting into the roles, it was still uncomfortable, and I think I was still distracted.
Yes.
That it was hard for me to get into it. So, but I think I do know at least the person who I would want to identify the frustration with.
Yes, which is great. So
yeah.
Can I make a request, ladies? Whenever you are ready, you can reach out to each other or someone in a group. Maybe Ayana, maybe Sam, maybe Emma. Maybe Emma for you is Gabrielle or Sam or Ayana. And do it. Complete it. And I promise you, if you're going to wait a week, you're not going to do it. Do it today, tomorrow, or on Monday, the latest, so that gets complete. Because once you complete that relative, something else might show up. And then something else. But at least the one that is heavy now, you want to get rid of. Put it away. So you're going to experience some lightness. And then, as you're going to get a hold of it, maybe you will decide to do a second or a third person if that shows up. This is now something powerful that is in your toolbox that you can have access to. Question to you, Sam and Ayana, how did it go for you ladies? Unmute yourself so we can hear you.
I'll go first.
Yes.
I felt I honestly felt like it went really well. We were both obviously a little nervous at first.
I bet.
And when I went first and I did like a spiel that I think I'd like played in my head for a while. And then I was like, I don't know how long that was. And she's like, 2 minutes. And I was like, But then I was really grateful because she was like, just if you have any more, you can keep going. And then I easily filled up the rest of my turn.
Yeah.
And my person was Viv's dad. And I did I teared up a little bit, which I do not show. He does not see that side of me very, it's not a safe place to show that softness, really.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't feel like that.
Doesn't feel like
so that
it,
was really, I think that felt really great for me. And then I also was very inspired when we swapped roles, because to see how specific, it was very obvious that she had spent time and being very clear of what am I actually hurt by? What was it? And so I feel inspired to maybe do a little bit more meditation and journaling of getting down to more of the core reasons of what it is that I'm holding on to in the first place.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Sam. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ayana.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. I really appreciated just being able to listen to her and hold space for her, and then being able to share myself. I'm sure you can guess who I talked about. No, I'm just kidding. But I did talk about my ex-husband, and I did write him a letter. Did I send it? No, but I did write it, and Gabby read over it for me, and she was like, I think that's perfect for you to send. And I haven't made myself go to the post office and send it because he does live in another country. So I have to actually go to post office and send it properly through that. But after writing it, wow, I really did feel like, even more of a relief, I guess, because it was directly to him. I have journaled a lot about it, which I did mention to Sam.
Yeah.
But I think writing it directly to him, it came out differently than when I would talk to myself, if that makes sense.
Of course.
And so I did feel like so much relief from that. And even when we did this today, I didn't have so much that I was even still so angry about, but I did want to still, I was like, maybe I have more to get off my chest, which I did. I talked for a while. But that, I think that was really helpful in just kind of like putting my mind in the space. And I really, when I was talking, I realized how much I still haven't really forgiven him or myself. And so it's that, I think that's going to be something that I continue to work on. I have in the past, like, you know, sometimes you'll say, oh, you know, I forgive you for this or for that, even when we were married. But I think there's just a lot that I'm really upset with our behavior and things that I did. And I feel like I have a lot of shame surrounding it. I do think that that's something I'd like to work on again with any that come a month, specifically forgiving not just him, because I do hold on to a lot of things. Really, it's about forgiving and just letting me be okay with how life is turning out, and that it's just a part of my journey. You know, I think I have like an expectation for what I want, and that's really where the hurt starts to come from when you have all these expectations going around. And so I just want to work on, just forgiving Ayana. Like, you're not a perfect person. You don't have to be a perfect person. Make life choices like everyone else does. That's all of these things are fine and okay, good, and you're not bad. And I know that. I like to feel it. So.
Beautiful, Ayana. Well, you're in a perfect space in this journey to forgiveness and acceptance. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. Now, a question to you and Samantha. Do you feel lighter? Because usually you feel lighter immediately, 30 minutes or hour later, but you feel lighter if you've done it the way it's designed. Do you feel lighter?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
I do. So, I could see him and like, you know, still be, hello, how are you, you know, and kind.
Absolutely. Thank you. So this is little inspiration for you, Gabriela, and you, Emma, to complete it. And if you choose, you can do it together or with Sam or Ayana. Follow your gut feeling. Ladies, with that said, let's start talking about lines. Are you ready to move to our third layer of human design? All right. So let me just quickly turn this on. Now, ladies, look at the human design. And today we're going to talk particularly, it doesn't say, unfortunately. Usually right under the profile it says manifestor 3-5 or generator 1-5, and that's what we're looking at. Do you see the lines here red? So the first, let's say that you're projector 4-6. 4 is representing your personality. This is the red. And the 6 representing your body. So the two numbers, one and the other, that's what it is. But at the same time, more of those numbers means planets and etc. that we're not gonna go over in this particular human design. But what I'm trying to say, that again, there's two numbers, 1, 3. 1, your first number, is the number representing your personality and ego. 3 is representation of your body. So there's slight difference. When people meet you the first, they will experience your body. How are you confident? Are you sexy? Are you pretty? Etc. How you're behaving, how you look. But a little bit later, they start to connect more to your personality. So now let's begin talking about the lines. So first of all, who has line number 1? I know you, Sam. Who else?
I have to check.
Okay?
Emma, in the group chat,
Yes.
I think that you posted a picture and it was a 1-3 as well as mine.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Yep. Hey, how do you know? I actually find it a bit overwhelming and confusing with all the lines and the numbers.
I know. So be with it for a moment. So far we went over the centers. The centers are, you see this brown, red, yellow, red, blue, green. These are the centers. Can you see them? So
Yeah.
this is the centers. This is what we're going over. Now, 1-3, you're not going to see it here. 1-3 will be under it. Like it will say generator or manifester, and then it will say the name of 1-3 and then 1-3 or 3-5. But by the way, those names of 1-3 and 3-5 are most of the times are very ridiculous, except the opportunist one. So I don't want you to pay attention to those names because they're mainly names for the low vibration people. And so it's kind of disencouraging to think of yourself like there's names. I cannot think of them in English because I studied it in Russian, but something like victim. Who wants to be named victim, right? And so they have very negative names. Next week or next following week, we're going to start studying gates. So if you're looking at the chart, the gates, do you see the numbers here at the centers and the lines? These are the channels coming from one center to another. That's what we're going to start studying, gates. This is the topping of the cake and the cherry on the cake. But right now we're going to go over the lines. The lines are not in your body graph. All you go by is 1-3, 3-5, and now I'm going to start explaining what is 1, what is 2, what is 3, what is 4, and etc. So,
I have a
yes,
question.
yes, Gabriela.
Someone, like, for example, I think Alexander is 5-1. Like, does it matter if the 1 is
Yes.
first or second?
Yes.
Okay.
Big difference. That's why today I'm going to start explaining. If it's 1 in personality and ego is one thing. If 1 is in the body is different. So start listening and paying attention because there is a difference. Okay? So we will start with 1. Let me, explain. Who are the ones? They're scared if their line is through ego and personality. Let's say it's 1-3. If your first number is 1, you're scared that you will not have enough information and knowledge. These are the seekers of knowledge. So you will be studying, let's say, math, English, geometry, Reiki, yoga, whatever that interests you. And what's interesting is you come into the community, you see a person who is really good in yoga, you pick them and you start learning from them yoga. You met this professor, they're good in history, you're interested in history, you're learning everything in history. But as you're learning, sooner or later, because you put all your energy into learning, you become an expert in that field. And you are basically can outgrow any of the professors because you're putting all of your attention in learning the craft. So these are naturally the best students in life. And later they become the best teachers in life. And it doesn't matter whether it's going to be math, history, yoga, spirituality. It doesn't matter. They're very good students. Our son is 1-3. And he used to be in gymnastics. He used to learn everything about gymnastics. He was doing flip this way and that way. Then he was into magic. He was learning the magic and was doing the YouTube channels about magic. Now he's into gaming. He's learning everything about gaming and he starts to win championships in one particular game. Even though we allow him to be on iPad 45 minutes a day, he just spends that 45 minutes learning the craft. And already as a 10-year-old, actually 9.5, he is teaching other kids how to win that particular game. He is already expert. Very important, if a child has this 1 in the ego and personality, and if you tell him, oh, shame on you, you lost in this game, or shame on you, you made a mistake on this math problem, you're crushing. They're thriving into experience and learning different things. So they have to go and do the mistakes. solving the problem incorrectly, doing the bad flip, or making mistake in history or yoga or Pilates, whatever that you are learning. If you're a child, and same as an adult, you are taking all of the information, you're studying, and then you're giving it back to the society because you become the best expert in that field. So there's no better teachers than usually the number one. And I already can see in a 9.5-year-old. Now, if you have one in the body, that is completely different. In the body, people need to experience different places. For example, my human design teacher is 5'1". He moves around. Every 2 years, he moves from one city to another, meaning his body is calling him to move and experience different people, different towns, how he feels in Vietnam, how he feels in Turkey, how he feels in United States and Russia and China and India. He moves around. That's how one is experiencing life through body. They're afraid to miss out. Being in the place, feels it right or not? So Gabriela, when your son gonna be 20 years old, he wants to move to Italy or Nicaragua, let him, because he needs to experience different places and town. That's his nature. But 5 will be very interesting because my teacher is 5'1" as well. So we'll get to 5. Very, very interesting. So just know, one is exploring different things, and they are absorbing everything. And also one known as people who will go into the basement and just study their craft. Leave me alone, just let me study. And our son is like, at this point, he's like, let me just 45 minutes study, and he doesn't want to interact with us because he is into this particular game. You're into Pilates, you would want to study Pilates and kind of shut down from the world. And so these people, if it's in ego center and personality, they need space to learn their craft. They need their time alone. It's very healthy, and they need it. Any questions so far about 1? Number 2. Who has number 2 in personality? Raise your hand. Anybody? No. Okay. Number 2, I would like for you to think of Rapunzel. Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Think of her. Number 2, people are very different in a way that they might, for example, my girlfriend in Germany, she is 2'4". She has blue hair, even though she's 47 years old. Do you get that? So they can have a different hair, or they can dress strangely, or have different necklaces or different earrings. Something about them, it's very different, the way they either wear things or fashion or style, but this is their charm. This is very unique and different about them, that they have a different sense of style. It's very authentic and it's very natural. And the problem with 2, everybody see that they're very unique and charismatic, and people are mesmerized by them, except them. It's like, think about a ballerina who is dancing ballet behind the glass in the store. Everybody watches her. She's dancing ballet. But to her, it doesn't matter. Are you looking at her or not? Because she's just enjoying herself and dancing. This is 2. They are authentic, they're unique, they're different, and that's their charm. How they are in a relationship. Think about it this way. Rapunzel. So think about Rapunzel, who are sitting in her castle, and her beautiful long hair reaches the floor. Everybody's mesmerized by the way she's singing and her beautiful long hair, but she doesn't see anyone because she's just singing and doesn't know that people are just admiring her. And so when people want to meet the 2s, she will be very cautious and careful, kind of looking at them and like, no. But once she is really interested in someone, and it takes time, because they're also like a pearl in a shell. They're keeping themselves closed. But once she's interested in someone, she opens up her shell and shows her beauty, her pearl. And then was the same thing in the relationship with the guy who is trying to approach her. If she really got that this prince is constantly coming, bringing her flowers or listening to her, talking to her, she finally can give her hair. He's like, okay, climb up. Once they're climbing up, she quickly then gets attached to him because she already chose him. And that, by the way, other people, especially men, feel like, oh, it took me like 4 or 5 months to get to her, and finally I'm in the castle, she's ready to get married with me. And there again, they're kind of awkward and strange like that, you know? They're like keeping distance, and once they give you hair, okay, I'm getting ready to marry you. And so they shock people with their kind of awkwardness. This is typical twos, okay? Twos, again, in the personality and ego, okay? Now we'll talk about threes. I have the number 3. What is the main thing you want to understand about 3? In human design, 3 described as people who are victims throughout most of their life. What do I mean by that? They're constantly seeking problems. They attract all kinds of experience to fail and go through mistakes. And this is the case until they're 30. Until 30, they just continue to fail and make mistakes in the relationships, in businesses or practices. Let me share a little bit of my background. So I finished ballet school with the folk major background. Then I studied international affairs, got degree in that, in business, in psychology, then clinical hypnotherapy, like trying different things. And then I had 3 different businesses. And then I was building the wells, and then I run my practice for 21 years. But I have so many different experiences, and in many experiences I failed. And by 42, number 3 becomes an expert to share what you shouldn't be doing. Makes sense? For example, everybody else goes from point A to point B. 3s go zigzagging. But in the process, while they're zigzagging, for example, you will go to school for 4 years, you're becoming a doctor. The 3s, while they're going to be a doctor, it will take them 12 years. But in the process, they will learn something else and something else and something else. And in 10 years, they will be not just a doctor, but they will be also biologist or the yoga meditation instructor or something else. But in the process, because they're failing, they become also an expert in wisdom, what not to do. And where the 2s don't share, they don't need the channel, society to share their ballet or singing. 1s are waiting for people to come to them so they can teach them. The 3s now, after 42, feel the need to express to society what not to do, how not to date, how not to sleep with the guys and waste time, or how not to open 3 businesses at the same time, or how not to raise funds to build wells with the close friends, but better to have a lot of big communities, and etc. I can share so many things how not to do. This is the typical 3s. But the charming part about 3s is that when they make mistakes, they're like, oh, no problem, let's do the next business. They failed the second business, no problem, the third business. To them, it's not a big deal if they're in a high vibration. They just move forward. And the beauty of it, people who are scared to fail, they go to 3s and they can tell them, because if, let's say, 1 fails like 3, to them they can be in the trauma for 2-3 years. But for 3, it's not a big deal. Relationship didn't work, oh well, I'm learning not to do that. The business didn't fail, oh, not a big deal, I'm ready to open the second one. Make sense? The 3s are very easy on moving on with life. So, questions so far? Because you're 3 and you're Emma 3. You should know 3.
Yeah, was that just with the ego?
That
or
is
that
with the ego, and that is personality. Now, if you have a 3 in your body You are basically going from one relationship to another, experimenting with different partners. And that is also very draining. But at the same time, you need it to learn what works and what not to works. This was a feminine man, this was a masculine man, this was a mama's boy, this was a cheater, this was something else. You are experimenting in relationship pretty much until 30. Then you start to slow down. The beauty, until 42, you're still experimenting. And after 42, those major failures and mistakes hardly happens. And then you're actually kind of bored. When will I have another major crisis? Because they already absorb so much. And so after 42, it's like a ripe fruit that is ready now to share what not to do. Makes sense?
Painfully makes sense.
Yes.
I've done that.
Yes. We are collectors of a lot of mistakes and failures. And that's the beauty. That is the beauty. And the wisdom, then later you will have a need to share that with the world, with the society. Because 3 is now starts to feel more that it needs the channel to share. Now let's talk about 4. Who has 4? Gabriela has 4. Anybody else? Yes, you. You, Ayana, beautiful. Now 4 now are slightly different with regards to the community. Now, if 3 is failing, if 2 is all kind of a shell that is closed off to people and kind of dances because she wants to but doesn't care if anybody looks at her or not, the 4 is opportunist. And that makes them the best connector and networking person. For example, my friend who is 2-4, even though she's like Rapunzel, you know, who will give the hair to this prince or the guy, but how she will do it? She will be gently looking and carefully watching this person. Can I really trust my heart? Because their biggest fear for 4s is to experience heartbreak, infidelity, and cheating. And if they are on a low vibration, they actually attract that. On the high vibration, they're just such a light and shining with their kindness, because they're the best friends, the best wives, and the best husbands. Number 4, because they're very loyal. But for example, the 4 have to take time to get to know someone, because they're building their community and their network. If they're concentrating about the numbers, I want to have not 20 people in my community, but 100, and they start inviting strangers, that later is the source of their pain, because they're meant for family, friends, friends of the friends, and their community, someone that they know. And they bring in the value to their community, and community brings value to them. Their best network, they create best network. They're swimming like a fish in their network, and they constantly kind of go into the room and they hug this person and that person and that person. They know a lot of people. These are the only people who on a high vibration can have 100 friends. Very rare. And this is their beauty. But if on the low vibration they get hurt by this person and that person and they shut down, and they're not close with this person or that person, they suffer. Because not only that they suffer, they cannot network with the other person, but they're not connecting to other people that meant to be connected, and they are the source of this connection. So that is their pitfall. But how not to be in this pitfall is to taking time and following their body. Do I want this person in my community? Do I really want to be in a relationship with this person? And usually people say, well, you've been dating him 5 months, you should sleep with him. Only 4 knows if you're ready to sleep with him, if you're in an exclusive relationship or engaged. Nobody should rush 4. And one thing that I also forgot about 2. If 2 in a low vibration in the body is curious how people are looking at her dancing or singing, she is losing that authenticity and beauty. And with the 4, if again in the body this person trusts other person very quick, they experience some kind of a heartbreak, betrayal, or infidelity in their life. So they should be taking time to get close to the person they are friends with or in a relationship. Any questions about 1, 2, 3, or 4?
No questions, but I do see how this played out. And when, like, after I had been married and I did experience like that infidelity, I broke down, but it was worse because I was in another country, and so I didn't have like any family or anything.
Yes.
And when they finally saw me, they were like, "You look so sick. What is going on?" But it was that lack of like community and space. And I knew some of the people that lived where I did, but we weren't close. Like they had nothing, they didn't know what was going on in my life in that way.
Yes.
But I did realize that in my family, they were like, "You look sick. Like, you know, you look like you lost your spark. What happened?"
Yeah.
Kind of thing. They saw it like immediately. So it's really interesting.
Yes. And so when you shared that you're now going to classes, religious classes, where you have your community, for you as a 4, it's so important to have that support system, whether it's going to be in religious communities or somewhere else, because you fully rely, because your whole idea is the friendships. This is your main mission. Friendships. For 2, by the way, it is hope. They always say everything gonna be okay. They're positive, like everything gonna work out. They give that hope. For you as a 1, you are bringing this expertise of knowledge where people feel empowered and more intelligent by you sharing your expertise. But for you as a 4, you're standing on the ground of the friendship, which is really important. Now, let's talk about 5. 5s are known, this is now 5 and 6 are the only 2 numbers, but they're different also from another, that are born not for themselves. They are born for others. I will take easily my time away from myself and my family to serve you. And 5s are usually known to even better, let's think of it this way. 5s are like your Superman, Wonder Woman, or Spider-Man, who is constantly going and saving, but saving who? Strangers. Where you 4 are about community, that you know someone personally, 5s are now all about thousands of strangers in the whole world. They are naturally born leaders who are here to serve others. But the problem with the 5, that they feel like they have to put on this leggings, the red underwear, and the coat that will fly while they're saving the plane or the bridges. And that is them living an authentic life, because they don't need to be putting on this persona that they're perfect and they're the superhero, because then people feel like Emma. Emma feels that she cannot really trust her guru because he put on one face, but on the other hand, when she reached out to him, he declined supporting her. And now in her eyes, he's like, well, I was looking at him this way, but now I see he's actually not this person. He helps everyone else, but he didn't help me the same way. And so with that, what is the word in English where you kind of lost the faith in this person? You kind of resign because they show one personality, but in the reality they can also capable of doing something else. And so let me go back for a moment about Superman. Do you remember how he was wearing glasses even though he didn't need the glasses in the office? And he would put his collar up so that nobody will notice that he's a Superman. That's what I'm talking about, inauthentic 5. He has two personalities. On one side, he's saving the world, and on the other side, he comes home and he's wearing a robe and the glasses. And that's typical 5s who are living on a low vibration. No, you can be the same person, not trying to make kind of a pretense life, like Angelina and Jolie and Elvis Presley is 3-5. First is the 5. She's a sex symbol, and everybody looks at her, wow, because 5 has a very charming, charismatic, and they're usually people who are like, oh, this is the hero, James Bond kind of. But in the reality, if you get to know Angelina Jolie, it's nothing but emotional crisis. Elvis Presley, overweight and doing the drugs. And they're 3, they're constantly going through failures and mistakes. And by the way, the 3 takes their partners through all of this roller coaster. And Brad Pitt, poor him, gone through roller coaster with Angelina Jolie, because it's just an illusion. It's a trend. She's sexy, she's wearing this. It's sexy, she's gonna do these movies. But that is the false living of 5. Because 5 is here to being fully authentic, that you know what, I'm not a superhero, I just like helping others, but I'm just a regular Angelina, I'm just a regular Joe, I'm just a regular James Bond, you know, I'm a regular James. They don't need to put a persona of that they're the superhero, because then it feels very exhausting to constantly keep up with the trends, to having the followers, to having the likes, to having the millions of people watching their movies, because they're chasing that sex symbol or something that they want to be popular. This is their inauthenticity. So 5, again, in personality, is people who are there for others, leading others, sharing the message, what they're really good at. For example, you see that I'm good in human design or relationship or something else, I am sharing that, I am leading, and people are following 5 naturally without 5 doing an effort. But 5 also in the body is like Angelina Jolie will use her sex symbolness of sexy face and body and etc. to attract person. But with that comes also the flip side. Later they find out that she's also 3, nothing but crisis. Any questions about 5?
Did you say those celebrities were 3 5s or 5 3s?
They are 3-5.
That's my daughter.
I am 3-5 too.
Yes.
Yeah. 3 is the stronger number. 5 is in the body. But again, we're talking about low vibration. If you have a high vibration, you're not even paying attention and using your body to attract other people. Because on a low vibration, 5 people will like, come here. And then through the sexiness, they're using other people to get married, to get the job, to get something else. It's a very low vibration. When people have a high vibration, they understand the 5 is for others, and they are carrying the message. And usually 5 is the first number that easily can be going into the society and have thousands and millions of people who are listening or watching them, whatever they're expert at. Now, let's talk about 6. Gabrielle, it's about you. Who else has 6?
Oh, can I ask a question about
Sure.
3s?
Absolutely.
I don't really experience this crisis thing anymore, but like I definitely did when I was younger. So I'm just wondering, like my life's exciting, but it's kind of like boring. I don't really have that much. I don't have any crisis.
How old are you, Emma? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 42.
Very good, and that's what I mentioned. Until 30, you get major crisis. Between 30 to 42, there'll be less and less, and usually by 42, they stop. And then you actually get bored, like, wow, where is my failures and mistakes? It's not always crisis. It's like failure and mistakes that makes you later wise to share again what not to do. Do you get it?
Yeah. I don't really feel like teaching. I have done it before, but my question was, you were talking with 5 about the higher and lower kind of aspects of that.
Yes.
So what would that be, for example? Because I don't feel bored. I'm just happy being stable.
Oh, that's fantastic. 3, when they're experiencing low, they're very kind of, even their names in English, I wish you guys can look at it, but in Russian it sounds something like people who are victims. And so the 3 on a lower vibration, they're just kind of resigned and depressed and only complain about life. The relationship is not working. My job is not working. I don't like this town. I don't like my mom, and I don't like my sister and my girlfriend. This, and they have this kind of tone of their voice, like And if they're connected on the emotional center, then it's more like explosive. It's like, I really don't like this, and I really don't like, and they're very emotional about complaining about their life. They're kind of victims in their life on the low vibrations.
In English, the word that I've seen the most is a martyr.
A murder, okay, got it. But in Russian, it sounds more like of a victim who is constantly looking for failures and being a victim. And that's why I don't like those names, because again, there's a big difference. Are you living life on a high vibration or a low vibration? And our goal is to get to moksha. And moksha means freedom from this gibberish that is constantly in our head. I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and our thoughts are constantly in control of us. And so that is the whole goal. But we'll get to that, because we're starting to talk now about number 6. 6 is the number that until 30, Gabriela, so it's about you, so I hope you're listening. Until 30, number 6 living through all the lines. Meaning they already experienced 1, they experienced 2, they experienced 3, and a lot of times 6 until 30 they experienced 3, a lot of failures, mistakes, and that's why they're trying different jobs, different projects, different relationships, what works, what doesn't work, and they go through all 5 lines by the time they're 30. And also what happens at 30, here you are, it's about you. And around 30, they feel like, because they failed in so many things, they're ready to now also share with the world. But because 6 is very close to also projector line, they start to share with people who are not asking them for advice. And so the life is punching them. It's like, why are you sharing with me? I'm not interested. I didn't ask you. Go do your life. Look at your failures. And so they get punched right and left and right and left. And by the age of 30, 31, 32, they finally get, okay, nobody's listening to me. Nobody's wanted to hear me, but I am the smart one. I'm the 6. I'm the wisest of all. But nobody's listening to me, because again, 6 is like 5. You are not meant for yourself and your family. You're for the world, for thousands, for 100,000s of people, but you're just not ripe. And so what 6 does, finally it surrenders. If it lives on the high vibration, it finally gets like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, nobody hears me, nobody sees my uniqueness, my specialty, because I am the future Buddha, future guru. And so it finally starts to getting in a space of kind of a cocoon. From 33 to 42, number 6 is living life by just observing this friendship, this relationship. They're interacting, but they're kind of starting to observe others. They become natural psychologists, but now they're just more in observation. And people, when they're in this space of being a cocoon, that's when people start to pay attention to them. And slowly, between 32 to 42, people start to finally come to them and asking for their advice. And now the 6, when they're sharing, they give the real value, because they've been in the stage of the cocoon. And only by the age of 50, they're fully ripe. By the age 50, I want you to think of a 6 like a Buddha who is sitting in the forest meditating, and people are just gravitating towards them and asking them questions when they're coming out of meditation. And sometimes the 6 doesn't even have to say anything. By being in the presence of the 6 that is already ripe by age 50, they're already bringing the miracles to people's life. And so by 50, usually, these are natural gurus that already fully ripe, and they are there for people. If 5 is leading people and people are following the masses, the 5, the 6 is just sitting here and people are slowly, gently gravitating, and they don't even have to say anything. And if they say, they're very quiet, very gentle, they just say 1 or 2 words and it's like goes straight to their soul, and they get like that, a breakthrough, the transformation and awakening. And the goal for all our lines, by the way, is to get to how 6 experiences life, because 6 is the only number, if they're living on a high vibration, is they experiencing the moksha, because they were from 32 to 42 is mainly quiet and observing the world. And by 50 they experience the moksha, the freedom from the head and the thoughts. And when they experience that freedom from the head and the thoughts, they're natural enlightenment teachers and gurus. And that is the goal for all of us. And how can we really get to that moksha? Is again through our yoga nidra meditation, tantra yoga meditation. Meditation is the access to get that your head is always in a way for you to distract and follow something that is actually not yours. And when you get to that space of darkness that we were today, and that quietness, and the next stage in meditation, you start to see, oh, I have this thought, I have that thought, and you're observing it from the side. And then you start experiencing that outside of the meditation, that somebody said something, and all of a sudden you got triggered. And you're watching your trigger. Oh, my ego got triggered. Oh, somebody made me upset right now. My body wants to react. It wants to get angry. But you're not getting angry. You're observing the emotion. You're observing how your ego got triggered. This is your stage of getting already into the state of moksha. Person is punching and punching and triggering, and you're like, interesting, but it has nothing to do. It's their stuff. It's their stuff. It's not mine.
Yeah.
This is already the stage that you're again experiencing moksha, and you're not getting triggered. And the 6 is there to give the example of how to live this life in freedom, in moksha, not being constantly run by the head, run by the thought. Oh, I'm bored, let me eat. Or I have a thought, that means I gotta do it. Or I feel the trigger, I need to fight. Or I need the trigger, I need to argue, or something else. Get that? Because in our modern days, we tend, because of our ajna center and the way the society we live, we're constantly judging, this is good and this is bad, this is right and this is wrong. And as long as we are putting the right and wrong, this and that, we are again in this vicious cycle of our head, and we're far away from freedom. Because even if we look at the example, for example, a woman works in a factory making weapons. Is this good or bad?
It's neither.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be good for people to protect themselves, but it could be bad if they use it to go harm someone.
Yeah, but at the same time also, we can look at it that as long as she goes to this factory and makes weapons, she can also feed her children because her husband passed away. So on one side, she's making the weapons and it will be used in Afghanistan or in Somalia and somewhere else. We can look at it, it's bad. But at the same time, some people can protect their families with the gun, and she is also protecting her children because she's working and she has money. And so there's always this an illusion that it's bad or is it good? There is no such a thing. Or that we look at, okay, vaccines are bad. Vaccines are hurting other people, or vaccine is saving people, it's good, or anti-vaccine is bad. Then people will be getting sick and making other people sick. But it's all an illusion. We need people who are afraid of vaccines and people who are anti-vaccines, because it's all balance each other out.
and it's all been planned before us. And so the enlightened person looks at the life from a neutral position. No good, no bad, and just what is. Detaching from it all. Yes, some people feel this way, some people feel that way. But there is, again, even inflation itself, we can look. On one side it's bad, on the other side it's also good. There is no bad and no good. It's just what is. Any questions now?
I do have a question about 6.
Mm-hmm.
So what for 6, if it's like, if you have 6 for the body and behavior, how would that look for someone who's like in low vibration?
In a low vibration, 6 will continue giving advice when nobody's asking him or her. And then will they continue being resigned and bitter and upset that nobody is really seeing their unique wisdom and power, because they are there for humanity, they're there for people. And so they will be like this, they will shut down and they're gonna stay quiet because nobody's still seeing them. But it's not their time. It's not their time yet. They riped fully by 50, but at least by 42. So, Gabriella, you have time to ripe. You're gonna just start your stage of being a cocoon for those who are 6. For those who, I mean, I've met a lot of 6 people, and you can just tell there's so much wisdom, and there's so much this unique power in them. But you just can tell after you are interacting with them longer, they're just not quite ripe. And once they're ripe, they're like, wow, you just don't want to be away from them because they're that massively powerful and peaceful and wise. It's very, very powerful. Most of the gurus that I've met so far, they had 6. They're just naturally, they're born and they start meditating at 5 or 6. All of the yogi nuns and monks that I've met, I usually say, do you mind if I'll run your profile? I ask in their city where they're born and time, and they're like, no, of course 6. No, of course 6. Yeah. So 6, you are very unique. But again, it's all of our goals is to get to the moksha. And once you are doing the meditation, at some point you'll realize, I am not 5. I am not 2. I am not 3-5 or 2-6 or 5-3. You are above it all because you're now free from the egregor of human design or Islam or Christianity, because it's all still egregors. All you have is your deep relationship to Creator. You don't need anyone else in the way. You are free from it all. But that again, it's a next stage. Not seeing us as a man or a woman, husband and wife. You're just connecting soul to soul.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
Just a reminder. So, like, I'm a 1-3. So the first one is the body or the personality?
Personality. First one comes personality and ego. Second one is the body.
But when people meet you, they typically see the body number first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But as they get to know you, they now later see your second number. So, for example, when people meet me first, they're like, oh, 5. Psychologist, used to be counselor, hypnotherapist, life coach, oh, she'll save me, and she's charismatic and saving the world. But later, in the past, they will see me, oh my God, I have so many mistakes and so many failures, and like, I'm out of here. Because again, 3s are collectors of mistakes. By the way, I also mentioned, if you have 5, if you have 6, all of them, but particularly on 5, people who are 5 and 6, they need also a lot of time alone.
because they're there sharing, because this channel that I'm with the people, I go on like TikTok or YouTube or sharing my videos, I give myself, but at the same time I need to recuperate. And so people sometimes think, oh, 5 will be the best friend. No, 4 is the best friends. 5s are meant to make a difference, not with the family, not with the friends, strangers. And so my friends sometimes are kind of disappointed, like, I can give them, but I am still meant more for the world. And so that is the pitfall of 5 and 6. And so 5 need time to recuperate, get their energy back. And that's why without meditation, I don't even know how to be a 5. It's impossible. So as for 6. Yeah.
I think that's interesting because I am a 6 when it comes to in the body, but I connect so much more easily with strangers.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere and meet a stranger, and it's like this, just a really nice connection. That it's not the same. Like, I am close with my family. I'm very close with my family, but I still see how a stranger would be more attached to me. Especially, it could be because my family knows me, too. Like, they feel like they don't want to look at you and your life experiences as something to learn from because they just know you, whereas a stranger doesn't necessarily see that.
That may be connected to, again, your centers and your gates, but keep in mind, if you're 4, 4 is a pretty strong number, is that you will make any stranger, if you connect with them, also your friend, and connect with you in the community. So if you feel you're connecting because you are 4, you're forming the network. And that's your beauty. It's just in the beginning a stranger, but very quickly you're going to make them your friends and you're going to invite them to your community. With 5, it could be still a stranger because, again, when people get to know me on a very personal level, I kind of have my family, a few little friends, and then the world. I will not allow I don't feel comfortable having like 10 or 15 people, friends like you, 4. Makes sense? But you can easily make a stranger a friend. That's how 4 and 5 are different. But again, you can easily have those 100 strangers become your friends. You will have a closer relationship to them, deeper relationship. And also we'll look again, next week we're going to start looking at the gates and the picture going to start coming together.